Hey everybody, my name is Lauren and this is Scouts Honor Redesign. Thank you for clicking on this video. After my first video, I got lots of feedback, wonderful, I love you people, my friends, my family. And if you're not friends or family, I love you too. I love you all. So please remember to watch the video to the end. Believe it or not, that helps. Like, subscribe, comment, all those things that YouTubers harass you to do, I'm going to harass you as well. So I went back and I rewatched the first video that I posted just to see if I could learn something from it, because this is a learning experience. I believe that I had a bit of a South Park moment. You know how Stan and Kyle always have this moment at the end of the episode where they tell you what they learned? I feel that way a little bit as well. It prompted me to make a confession. And the confession is this: I am not cool at all, because that's what dark academia is. It's like smoking in high school, at least back in the 80s. It was cool. We all wanted to do it. All right. High school never ends is where I'm going here. So I thought in my head that dark academia was where I wanted to go, was the aesthetic I was trying to achieve in my booth. But the truth is, I am just not that type of girl. Yes, I wear black all the time, but I don't want it adorning my walls. A lot of people ask me what that was. People who watched my video and maybe don't know to comment or to ask a question through there, they're asking me, what is dark academia? You need to explain it to me. So this is what we're doing today. Dark academia. So let's first get this out of the way. I am talking about an aesthetic, the things you put on your wall, the decor you're putting up, the pictures you're putting up, all the knickknacks you're buying. I'm not talking about a subculture, because it can be confused as that. There is a subculture of people who want to live the life of someone who lives in that type of aesthetic. The same is for cottagecore, which we'll get into later. There is absolutely a subculture attached to it. I am talking about the aesthetics, just the things we're sticking on the wall to make the room look nice. Dark academia. I wanted to give you guys some examples so that it would be a little easier to envision it. So what kind of movies or maybe TV shows would you know that would help you be able to just visualize it a little better? And the first one that comes to my mind is Dead Poets Society, which is a movie that came out in, that's right, 1989. Oh my gosh, 1989. Time flies. I was in 10th grade. I loved that movie. For people who don't know what that movie is, that stars Robin Williams as a school teacher. He's teaching at a prep school, like a New England prep school. But if you can envision that movie, and then also feel old because it was so long ago, that's the type of thing. And I hate to use Harry Potter as an example here, but same thing. Picture the old study. All the colors are dark. There's a very dark palette that's going on here. Blacks, browns, dark green. They might throw in a little bit of light color just for accent. So main colors are dark, light colors are accented. You're gonna have leather-bound books. You're gonna have an armchair by a fire that's near a big ornate mantle with a mirror on top. Candlesticks, all right? There's going to be a globe in the room as well, because you're going to pretend that you are well-traveled. Perhaps an old suitcase in the corner, sitting on the floor. Magnifying glass, because you like to study things. This is dark academia. Now, where did the term come from? Back in 1992, there was a book published called The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Oh, I hope I am saying her name right. That's where everyone is giving the credit to the origin of dark academia. And again, that was a story about a bunch of students at a school. They were called classical students. So it was really something that was promoting higher education. So think back hundreds of years ago, rich people would send their kids to school just to study the classics. Every example that I can give you about a TV show or a movie always revolves around a school. Hogwarts, they're at a school. Dead Poet Society, that's a school. The other ones I was looking up because, of course, I don't watch TV. That new Sabrina the Teenage Witch show, she's in school. The Magicians, which I can't remember if that's on Netflix or Prime. They're at a school. Everybody's at a school for dark academia because you're promoting the classics. All right, so think classic Greek, classic literature, architecture. There's going to be a bust in the room of a philosopher. All right, this is your dark academia. Okay, now remember when I said something about a subculture? So say you wanted to live the lifestyle. Now you're going to wear tweed. So I'm gonna wear a pleated skirt with a wool sweater, perhaps a tweed blazer on top. And some people like that. Some people want to live in a culture that just isn't here anymore. All right. And I think that's great. And I do like those things. I love classic literature. I have a bust of a girl in the room. I think I have a globe somewhere in the house too. But I don't like dark colors. It's too dark. Who wants to live in a cave? I'll have to show you a picture of what my booth currently looks like. It is a work in progress. And you'll look at it and you'll be like, that's not dark at all. What is she talking about? I don't know what I was thinking. It's like when you go to a restaurant, you order too much food, and you always say this, oh, my eyes are so much bigger than my stomach. It's the same thing. It's along the same lines. The vision I had was so much bigger than the vision it was actually going to be, because I am who I am. And what I am not is cool. I'm not cool. So no dark academia there. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about cottagecore. And for this one, we have to talk about its origin story. And we have to go back a few hundred years. Sorry, history. I love it though. So let's go back to the late 1700s, early 1800s during the Romantic period. And think about all those Romantic poets that we've heard of. They were all writing about rural life, countryside. Remember, William Wordsworth writes about daffodils and, John Keats, Ode to a Grecian Urn. The reason they're doing this is because the industrialization of the cities is making people move out to the country to get away from that. So this is where that starts a little bit here. That idea. So think in your head what you would picture the English country cottage would be like. Okay, that's where we're going here. All right. Now let's move ahead another 100 years. So now we're going into what's called the arts and crafts movement. And this was a movement spearheaded by two men whose names I totally forget, of course. But they were prompting people to use and make handcrafted goods. This is where the idea of sustainability is really coming into play, and it becomes a lifestyle choice for people. And that is popular for a very long period of time. Now we're going to move ahead again. But now we're moving to COVID. We all remember COVID and the shutdown. So COVID hits, everything shuts down. Nobody can go anywhere or do anything. You can't go to the movies. You can't go to the restaurant. You can't do the things that you would normally do. So now what are you going to do? Now you're stuck at home with however many people live in your house, and you got to think of things to do. Or you want to go out into nature. That's right. So I don't know if people know this about me, but for a very long time, I was a hiker, and I hiked a lot of the trails around here, especially in and around the Appalachian Trail. And I never used to see people. Once in a blue moon, I would see people. But can I tell you, during the pandemic, it was just overloaded with people. I mean, and that's great that people were getting out into nature, but they were everywhere because there was nothing else to do. The upside to that is people really learned how wonderful nature is because we've kind of forgotten about it over the years. All right. So it has made this upstart or restart, I guess, in a lifestyle of sustainability. So maybe during the pandemic, you were learning how to, grow herbs on your windowsill or, make your own butter. Now that one's a little tricky. But it encouraged that. So that's where cottagecore originally comes from. Just a love of nature and a love of things made by hand. The color palette is going to be the opposite of dark academia. They're very, very light colors. Creams, oh, dare I say pink, but lighter colors, pastel. What are you going to see in your house? You're going to see botanical prints, maybe candles, but not with the wax dripping, because I think you would see that in a dark academia room, wax dripping all over the place. In cottagecore, you're a little bit more careful, aren't you? Okay, you're going to have really pretty curtains hanging from the window. Working on a crafts project in the corner of the room. There's going to be a hand-knitted blanket draped over the really comfy chair you have in your reading nook. For a lot of people, this is the subculture. This has become their lifestyle. They want to put on a flowered apron. They want to bake. They want to garden. And I advocate for all of these things. I hate to cook though, and I have a black thumb. Can I tell you right now, I have a plant that was given to us at my mom's funeral with flower arrangements, and I'm trying so hard to keep it alive in her honor because she loved plants, but man, I can barely keep my dog alive. But I think it sounds like a great lifestyle. Maybe the colors are a little too bright for me though. So let's talk about some movies, maybe TV shows that'll help give you a better idea visually. The first one for me that came to mind was, and this is an older one, Anne of Green Gables. Because she lives in the countryside and, you know, they make their own food. The Secret Garden's a good one. Google also suggested Moonrise Kingdom. And I hadn't thought of that, but I guess that would play a role. It's a good movie too, if you have not seen it. How about TV shows? I have been watching a lot of Miss Marple lately, and she lives in an adorable English community in her little cottage. It's perfect. They're always having tea. You guys know how I like tea. If you don't, you will. I love tea. My own aesthetic seems to be a combination of both of these things. I don't like the dark colors on the walls, but I do like weird, creepy old dolls and medical specimens, which might be considered dark. I like, you know, an old leather-bound book, but I like it next to a vase of flowers. Faux flowers. Let's be very specific here. So can we combine these two things together? And at first I thought, and when I say at first, I mean like 2 weeks ago, I thought, oh, maybe that's gray academia, but it's not gray academia. I want to combine cottagecore and dark academia together. So when people do this, don't you just like grab one word from one phrase and another word from the other phrase and then you stick it together? And the first thing that I thought was dark core, which just sounds evil, dark core. So instead, let's try cottage academia. And I like that. Cottage, which is whimsical, I would like to think I'm a little whimsical. And academia, which sounds really snooty. And, you know, I want to be a little snooty. I think I'm a smart gal. Which brings us to the lesson we've learned. So now we're going to go back to, again, the Stan and Kyle moment here, where I learn a lesson. And it's that I am who I am. And you are who you are. So pick a style that you really, really like and adorn your walls with it. But also, if you can, be a little crafty, you know? Let's try a little sustainability here. Don't go out and buy something new. Maybe thrift something and paint it. Wouldn't that be nice? Here's the true lesson that I've learned. And I'm going to quote a great philosopher. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And doggone it, people like me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and all those things. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.